How's it going, everybody? It's Matt from Sequoia CrossFit, coming to you today to talk to you about fitness and health and all things CrossFit and Sequoia CrossFit. Today I'm going to talk to you about something that's a little bit controversial, even though it really shouldn't be, but it is. I'm going to talk to you about nutrition, specifically about a plant-based or vegan vegetarian diet. I recently watched the very popular documentary called Game Changers. It's available on Netflix right now if you want to watch it, if you have a subscription to that. It was made about a year ago, I believe, and it shows various high-level athletes and even celebrities. Arnold Schwarzenegger has a big piece in it, who are on a vegetarian or vegan diet, so no meat whatsoever, and showing all the positive benefits that they're experiencing from that, from their higher level performance in endurance racing to track and field sprinting. They even have a strongman competitor in there. They're bodybuilders in there. It's a very dense documentary with a lot of information, a lot of studies that they flash up on the screen constantly. It was overwhelmingly informative, and as a result, it's very hard to get through that and double checking all those pieces of information. And there are other videos out there online that tell you, oh, this is a bad study because of this, and that's a bad study because of that, and refuting a lot of those points. And that's not what I'm here to do. I am here to give you my opinion about a vegetarian vegan diet and what that's all about and why you may or may not want to consider doing something like that. Lately, the vegan diet has rebranded itself in a large extent to be called plant-based. It's the same thing. It's avoiding at all costs any sort of meat or animal products whatsoever. And while if you have an ethical concern about the consumption of another living creature, an animal, or any of the products of an animal's bugs, fish, birds, anything at all, then if that's where you have a problem, then that's where the conversation ends. Go ahead and follow your ethics and your morals. I'm not here to adjudicate that for you. When we talk about the nutrition aspect of it, though, the biggest problem that I see with a vegetarian or vegan diet in athletes, in clients, in everyday people is that they have a very difficult time balancing their macronutrients. So that's the proteins, carbohydrates, and fats that all of our bodies need regardless of the source. Now we could get into the weeds as far as what kinds of proteins and micronutrients are contained in plants versus animal proteins. That Game Changers movie is a great way to really blow your mind with all of the things that are involved. But suffice to say, it is very difficult. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult to get the proper ratio of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats if you're not getting those proteins from a meat source, some sort of animal protein. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. And I'm sure the documentary has some section, and someone can put in the comments here on my video, oh, go to minute 27 and 33 seconds and you're going to see the refutation of that point. Fine, go for it. The bottom line here is that human beings are designed and have been designed to eat a wide variety of foods from a wide variety of sources. Our closest genetic relatives, a lot of times people point to gorillas who have big sharp canine teeth that really are just for show. And so they point to our canine teeth and say, oh, they're just for show. We're really all about those molars in the back, and gorillas are big giant, silverbacks are like 600 to 800 pounds, whatever. Those aren't actually our closest genetic relatives. Bonobos and chimpanzees share more genetic material with us than a gorilla does. And they're omnivorous. They eat the occasional eggs and birds and things like that. When a human being, a general person walking around in the United States today is getting their meat, they are generally going to some sort of grocery store and they are generally buying some sort of prepackaged, farmed, industrially produced meat. This factory farming meat is undeniably bad for us. It's difficult for people, especially in the neighborhood where we are in East Oakland, California, where this is the definition of a food desert. There is not a lot of healthy options for restaurants and grocery stores to provide fresh, good quality meats and vegetables. So people have to make some sort of sacrifice. They buy something prepackaged, and they get their chicken a lot of times from, or meat or pork or anything, any sort of meat. A lot of times they get that protein from fast food. We will often hear our clients say, oh, no, I just eat chicken, I go to Popeyes all the time. No, Popeyes is not a good choice. McDonald's is not a good choice. Anything with a drive-through is not going to be a good choice for food. But I also understand that that's really what people have access to in a lot of places. It is a very privileged thing to be able to choose organic foods and fresh meats and vegetables all the time. That's very expensive, and sometimes it's just logistically difficult to get to those stores and home, especially if you live in a lower income neighborhood like where we're located. If we can get our protein from healthy sources of meat from animals, then that's the way to go. If you can find a hunter friend, or if you're a hunter yourself, and catch and kill fresh game, that's the best way to do it. These are wild animals. They're full of all sorts of nutrients. It's really the best source of protein on the planet. A close second is going to be eggs, but again, you're dealing with factory farming a lot of the times, and there's a lot of antibiotics involved in that. If you've got someone who has a chicken coop, that's a very popular thing in the Bay Area, is to raise your own chickens. If you've got a friend on the block that has a chicken coop, if those chickens are mature, they're laying an egg a day, you can maybe work out some sort of deal to get some eggs from your neighbor. That would be a great source of protein for you. So what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to eat crappy Popeyes and fast food just to get that meat protein? No, that's not a good choice. Are we supposed to completely shun meats entirely and just go with vegetables? No, that's not it either. There needs to be some sort of a balance. A lot of times the people who are the biggest fans of a vegan or plant-based diet are ones who've tried it. And so of course, try it for yourself, see if it works. And they tell me, well, I've been vegan or plant-based for the last 2 weeks, and I feel amazing, and I have all this energy, and I've lost all this weight, and of course it works. Of course vegan works. Any diet that you go on, any huge nutrition change, you're gonna see big results in the first few weeks, couple of months. And probably going from eating a really crappy diet of fast food and sugar sweetened beverages and candy and things like that, and then going to a healthy diet of vegetables, of course you're going to see a result, because you're getting rid of all the crap that's in your diet, and now you're going to something much, much healthier. That doesn't mean that it's the be-all, end-all. That doesn't mean that it's perfect, and that doesn't mean we can't optimize. It doesn't mean it's not perfect. It just doesn't mean that it is. So what it means is that what you were doing before was really terrible. So great, you've made a step in the right direction. That's wonderful, but let's make sure that what we're doing instead is as good as it possibly can be. And that's where the discussion really lies, is what is optimal. There are a lot of different ways to do this nutrition thing, and frankly, it's going to be very, very specific to your individual genetics, your gut microbiome, and so many other factors that it's hard to say what one diet is perfect for everybody. I don't believe that there is one diet that is perfect for everybody. I think we all are too unique, and that you have specific needs, and we've got to figure out exactly what they are. And that takes time. Our general nutrition template that we start with for most people is to shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. That is a good place to start, and animal proteins are the fastest, easiest way to get there without throwing off your other macronutrients, your carbohydrates, or your fats. I also recommend that people avoid inflammatory vegetables such as corn and sometimes potatoes, things that are starchy, rice. Anything with gluten, a lot of times that can be inflammatory in the system. We all know the evils of gluten, which ironically is technically a protein. But we absolutely subscribe to the official CrossFit recommendations of eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. No sugar is the big one. So if you can avoid those drive-thrus, if you can avoid getting your big gulp full of some sort of sugary beverage, you're doing great right off the bat. You can then avoid the mass-produced, factory-farmed meats and eat instead good quality meats, even better. If you can then get into great healthy vegetables, fantastic. You're gonna do great. Healthy fats from nuts and seeds, avocados, healthy oils. Those are great ways to really have a well-balanced diet. We could talk for hours about what is and isn't healthy, and frankly, someone will hop into the comments here and with all sorts of letters after their name and say, no, there's this study and that study, and then someone else can argue, yeah, that was only 7 people, and we don't know what the rest of the factors were, and that's a correlation, not causation, and we get nowhere. Generally speaking, what we should do is go to the grocery store. Don't buy your food pre-made. Go to the grocery store and shop the perimeter. Okay, everything that's good is on the perimeter of the grocery store, whether that's meats, vegetables, anything that you want to have is fresh and it goes bad. Food doesn't come in a box. It spoils. So you need to cook it soon. So shop the perimeter of the grocery store and you're already doing really, really, really well. Beyond that, we can really fine tune that and we can talk to you about your individual fitness and nutrition needs if you come in here and talk to us during one of our no sweat intro sessions. So go to sequoiacrossfit.com, click on the link for that no sweat intro, and you can come into the gym at a time like this when it's nice and quiet, and we can talk about all this stuff in depth and we can find a path forward so that's going to get you to perform at your absolute best with our training and some nutrition guidelines. We can get you there. So go to sequoiacrossfit.com, click on the link, and we'll see you real soon.